Have you ever caught yourself reaching for a positive affirmation before you've actually finished feeling the thing that you were trying to affirm your way out of? Or maybe you've meditated over your anger instead of sitting with what the anger was actually trying to tell you. If you're nodding, this video is for you. Because what I want to talk about today is something that is extraordinarily common in women doing this kind of inner work. And it's one of the biggest reasons that smart, spiritually aware women can spend years on their growth journey and still find themselves circling the same patterns. It's called spiritual bypassing. And I say this with so much compassion because I have lived this myself. I want to start with a quick story. Not long ago, I was dealing with a frustrating situation with an external company. They were letting me down. I'd been very clear about my expectations. And on about the fifth call, I was firm, direct. I had my boundaries. And when I got off that call, I expressed my frustration to a friend who was with me. And they said, I thought that your daily meditations meant you didn't get angry. And honestly, that made me more frustrated because here's what that comment reveals: this incredibly widespread and damaging idea that being spiritual means being endlessly calm, that if you've done the work, nothing should rattle you, that healthy emotions like anger are somehow a sign that you haven't evolved enough. That is spiritual bypassing in action and is doing women a serious disservice. So let's talk about what that actually is. The term was introduced by John Welwood, a Buddhist teacher and psychotherapist, back in the mid 1980s. He described it as the tendency to use spiritual ideas and practices to sidestep or avoid facing unresolved emotional issues and psychological wounds. In plain language, before we've made peace with what's actually going on beneath the surface, we try to rise above it. We skip the human part and go straight for the transcendence. And from the outside, that can look like genuine growth. It can even feel like it from the inside. The cruel irony is that sometimes the more spiritual literate we become, the more sophisticated our avoidance gets. We get better tools, we use them to build a more elegant escape route. So, what does this actually look like day to day? It might look like reaching for everything happens for a reason before you've allowed yourself to feel the impact of what happened. It might look like calling something a lesson or part of your journey before you've finished grieving it. It might look like using high vibration language to bypass the very human, very valid experience of being hurt or disappointed or furious. And it might look like forgiveness offered before the anger has been fully felt, which I want to say this gently but clearly, that isn't forgiveness, that is suppression. This is what I've come to understand through my own journey and through working with women in this space. The bypasser isn't a flaw, she's a protector. In IFS, internal family systems, we would recognize her as a part that developed for very good reasons. She kept the pain at a manageable distance when we didn't yet have the capacity to meet it directly. And we can honor that. We can genuinely thank her for what she did. But at some point, she stops protecting us and starts keeping us stuck. In Kabbalah, there is a concept of shells or husks that form around the soul when light is not properly integrated. You can think of this like metaphysical barriers or illusions that block the divine light. And so bypassing doesn't remove the darkness, it encases it. And what is encased doesn't disappear, it finds another way to surface, often through the body, through chronic fatigue, through tension, through patterns we can't seem to break no matter how much inner work we do. This is why so many women have done years of work, still find themselves in the same loop. The work has been happening above the wound, not inside it. And I want to say something about anger specifically, because I think it's one of the most bypassed emotions in spiritual communities. Healthy anger is not a low vibration emotion to be transcended. It is information. It is a boundary trying to form. It is your soul saying that is not okay. When we bypass anger with spirituality, we don't release it, we compress it. And compressed anger finds other exits. Being ruled by anger is very different to listening to anger. One is dysregulation, the other is intelligence. Real spiritual growth doesn't happen above the human experience, it happens through it. The integration is bringing the spiritual and the human into the same room, not transcending your humanity, but meeting it with all the tools and all the wisdom you've developed. It means feeling the anger before finding the lesson, grieving the loss before reframing the growth, sitting in the not knowing before reaching for a meaning, letting the body speak before the mind explains. The spiritual path doesn't get less rich because you've stopped bypassing. It gets more real, more embodied, more genuinely transformative. If you resonated with this today, I want to invite you to go a little deeper. I have a free resource called Come Back to Yourself. It's a guided meditation and a reflection guide designed to help you slow down, drop into your body, and start hearing what's actually there underneath all the noise. The link is in the description below. It's free, it's gentle, and it might just be the thing your nervous system has been waiting for. And if you found this video valuable, please share it with a woman in your life who you think needs to hear it, because this conversation matters. I'll see you in the next one.